our moonshot, our next moonshot. This thing has been delayed for 7-8 years now, and it is over budget, billions of dollars, billions of tax dollars. That means it's our money. Yeah. And they've been going at this thing for quite some time now. But the new administrator, Jared Isaacman, came in today. He came in hot. And he was saying he said the quiet parts out loud, basically, like, we're not ready for this, and we have to do it a different way. And this is the first time in a long time we've heard somebody say, like, the way we're doing it is not working. You say it all the time behind the scenes, Matt. You're like, why do they keep throwing good money after bad? And why do we keep having to do all these fixes or whatever? I say it in front
of the scenes,
yeah. You do, but we have this conversation off camera quite a bit. And, I'm a space lover, and I want them to just get it right. And so does everyone else, because you're talking about sending people back to the moon. It's not just like shooting a satellite up and a launch like that. These are human souls that will be on board. So they have decided to make some changes. Our community correspondent, James Barbero, breaks it down for us.
NASA's been working on these plans knowing this is not the right approach. There has to be a better way.
Artemis 1 in 2022 had leaks and lessons to learn from months before it launched. Artemis 2, more than 3 years later, has already missed 2 launch windows just this year because of similar leaks.
Launching a rocket as important and as complex as SLS every 3 years is not a path to success. A component of that is when you are launching every 3 years, your skills atrophy. You lose muscle memory.
So this is what will happen. Standardization. Isaacman said all future Artemis rockets will be the same instead of tailoring each spaceship. Rebuild the workforce. Isaacman mentioned fewer contractors and more civil servants, NASA workers. And the big one, more launches more regularly. Artemis 2 with astronauts still aims for an April launch to go around the moon. Artemis 3, also with astronauts, will not land on the moon, but instead practice docking with the hardware needed to land and do this in low Earth orbit in 2027. And then Artemis 4 and 5 both land astronauts on the moon in 2028. So that's how we go from 1 launch every 3 years to roughly 1 launch or even 2 every year.
Okay, and if you're going to have somebody who is going to tell you how to do it, you want someone who's been to space. And I think people forget that Isaacman was a civilian, and he's been to space. No, he's been to space twice. He was part of the first civilian spacewalk in Polaris Dawn when they took it up in 2024, I think it was. And there's that iconic photo of him like opening the hatch door, and he's in that white SpaceX suit, and it's just the blackness of space all around him. So he's been there, and he has seen what it takes to get there and what could happen if things don't go right, because we don't know what went on inside that capsule, and they're not going to tell us, right? So he probably saw some things like, we're not ready. This is not the way to get people back to the moon. And I'm glad that they're taking their time and pushing it back a little bit and giving us more time to develop the systems that will be in place to make sure these 4 astronauts have the best possible chance at it.
It was funny because I had just written and tracked a story about how improbable it would be that they go from Artemis 2 to Artemis 3. A lot of people were predicting that Artemis 3 would never get finished.
Yeah.
So it makes a lot more sense. It's such a huge jump, my whole story, which I now have to scrap and rewrite.
Because they just,
because they just changed everything. Yeah. But the difference between just putting someone around the moon and then refueling a Starship, SpaceX's Starship.
That huge thing.
And then landing that on the lunar surface with gear and putting up a settlement there. It is just these are things
crazy.
We've never done before. Scientists have not figured it out yet.
Yeah, and I think it's going to take a little while longer to figure out, and that's why they want more time. We had a poll today that asked people, we told them how much money that was being spent on all of this, and we wanted to know, is it worth an estimated $93 billion, and so far in parentheses, in taxpayer money to return to the moon? And 56% of you are saying, no, that's too much money, because you're thinking, what else could we have done?
Yeah, it's a ridiculous amount of money. You could put up like 200,000 affordable housing units and give them away to people.
It's crazy.
It's a crazy amount of money. And you know what my thoughts are as a logical person with money? I think that this is crazy. But then I was talking to a space expert the other day, and he said, okay, well, how comfortable would you be as an American watching China go up to the moon first and put a full-time settlement on the moon and have those kind of capabilities well, we in America just gave up because we didn't want to spend the money.
Have you
And
met
I was like,
America? Have you met us in our competitive spirit? And that's the reason
not
that
even competitive. It's just you're at a real disadvantage.
Well, and the other thing too, the whole reason we were first, not the whole reason, but a big reason we were first on the moon is because Russia was breathing down our neck. And we're like, we're not going to be second. At the time, it was the USSR. And it's like there was a huge competition. And we're not going to be second to Russia. And then because nobody else was saying they were doing it after that, notice we haven't been back because nobody else was threatening. But now if China or even India.
Well, the thing was with that those initial missions, we were just trying to get somebody on there.
Yeah.
So we had this, the lunar lander, the walls, not necessarily, there's an argument about this, but like the outside shield of it was about the thickness of tinfoil. They just wanted to
crazy.
get some people on the lunar surface. People are like, oh, well, we've already been to the moon. Why is this so difficult? We're trying to get gear, tons and tons of gear and big machinery and a bunch of people onto the moon. It's a way different project.
And so much has happened between that time and now. We know too much. And we know what could possibly go wrong. And I don't think we're willing to risk human lives.